Hi, my name is Amanda Swartwood, and today I will be presenting an example of a video presentation on To Kill a Mockingbird Literary Analysis by Harper Lee. So I have my literary analysis handy. I also printed out kind of my slides to guide me. Okay. So, throughout the novel, there are a lot of different theme ideas that we see from beginning, middle, till the end. So, my beginning theme idea is life lesson. Towards the middle, I noticed a lot of racism, and the end, I see a lot of characters growing up and learning a lot of information in society by growing up. So remember, these are theme ideas, not themes or theme statements. So we're using these ideas to construct themes. All right. So the beginning, I chose life lessons to focus on. So my theme statement for life lessons is life lessons are an inevitable part of growing up. Then I have two pieces of evidence which prove my theme statement to be true. So the first one is on page 33, and it is Calpurnia teaching Scout a life lesson. She says, "Hush your mouth, don't matter who they are. Anybody sets foot in this house is company. And don't let me catch you remarking on their ways like you was so high and mighty." So that is an example of an adult Calpurnia teaching Scout, a child, how she should treat company when they come over and how it is not her job to judge somebody that comes into her home. The second example is on page 65, and this is Jem explaining, our Scout explaining what Atticus tells Jem. He says, "What Mr. Radley did might seem peculiar to us, but it did not seem peculiar to him. Lastly, we were to stay away from that house until we were invited there. We were not to play a game he had seen us playing or make fun of anybody on the street or in this town." So again, that is an example of Atticus teaching a child, Jem, a life lesson about not making fun of somebody or not putting their life display out to embarrass them in front of the town, when referencing the game that the kids were playing, which they acted out Boo Radley's life. Okay. Towards the middle, the theme idea I focused on was racism. My theme statement is, racism and prejudice attitudes can cause people to make decisions based on stereotypes. So I didn't give you guys quotes for this. You guys need 2 quotes to prove your middle theme statement. So I was considering the court scene for the middle part and kind of how the town's racial attitudes is what ultimately convicted Tom Robinson of a crime he did not commit. Considering they didn't have evidence, they didn't have witnesses, it was mainly just their prejudice and their views about another race that they felt they had enough to just put him away and ruin his life pretty much. So, end. So again, on this one, you guys need your quotes still, and then you would give your commentary as to why those specific quotes prove that theme statement. What I just did right now is I just summarized that part of the book for you. Okay, and growing up. So my last theme statement: as children grow up and are exposed to the adult world, they become more aware of the world around them, including the darkness it entails. You would then again get quote 1, quote 2 that kind of prove this theme statement to be true, and then explain in your own words how these pieces of evidence prove this. Okay. So then we are skipping over to literary elements such as figurative language. Beginning, you would tell your example. So say I found a simile at the beginning. I would say this is an example of a simile. I would tell the exact quote from the text that is the simile, and then I'd explain in my own words why I chose that simile to represent the beginning of the story. So why was it important? What does it really mean? Okay, and then middle, I gave you guys this example in class. I found an example of a hyperbole in the middle. This is Atticus speaking in the court case, and he is kind of trying to persuade the jury to do the right thing and not follow the crowd, basically, not follow the ways of Macomb County and convict an innocent man simply because they are racist and most of the town is racist. So hyperbole, it says all Negroes lie, that all Negroes are basically immoral beings. So this hyperbole exaggerates that all black people are the same. And we all know that that is a stereotype because there is no race that simply everybody of that race is the same, right? So that's the point Atticus is trying to make when he is persuading the jury to do the right thing, basically pointing it out the obvious that that is a complete exaggeration. All right, then you would get to your example at the end. So I would find another literary element or a piece of figurative language. Maybe I found, let's see, a metaphor at the end. I would give the direct metaphor from the text, and then I'd explain it in my own words and its significance to the end of the story. Character development. So I am focusing on Scout's character. Beginning, middle, and end, it's the same process. So I will go ahead and just give you my example from the end of the story. I said, Scout loses some childhood innocence as she experiences the darkness of the adult world. My evidence from the story is on page 326, and it says, so many things had happened to us. Boo Radley was the least of our worries. This is significant in proving that Scout is losing that innocence because by the end of the story, by the end of the novel, she has been exposed to so much evil in the world and so much more realistic bad guys that Boo Radley, somebody who she feared so much at the beginning of the story, doesn't seem so bad after all. Okay. The end, you guys don't need to make a slide about your real life connection. I just want you to verbally tell me. So this is where you would verbally share a personal connection to the novel. If you did not have a personal connection at all, then you would tell me about a connection you noticed between the novel and the real world. So thinking of society in general, do you see any overlaps? Just kind of explain that. That can be 1 to 2 sentences. Just give me a real life example. Then verbally explain how you can relate to your character, or if you know someone who can relate to your character or share similarities with them. So I heard a lot of you guys talking about Atticus, maybe reminds you of your dad or reminds you of an adult that you've always looked up to. So just tell me about that. Tell me what characteristics they share, what values they share. Or I know I heard some of you talking about Jem. Jem reminds you of your brother, and just tell me about that little personal connection. Okay? So that is my example of a literary analysis.